Yeah, very pleasant evening. This is Kukreja. I'm from the Arara Club Bhopal, where we are having the ITF $15,000 men's tennis tournament. And of course, it was a very big surprise and absolute great privilege for all the Bhopalis, all the Central India part, lovers, tennis lovers, when we had Saketh Myneni, and there he's sitting next to me, partnering Yukri Bhamri in the doubles of this ITF 15,000 tennis tournament. Saketh, a very warm welcome and thanks a lot. And a little bit of report on Bhopal, your first appearance, the courts, the people in general.
Thank you. It's my first time here in Bhopal. I'm really excited to be playing here. The original plan wasn't for us to come to Bhopal, but we played Davis Cup in Delhi, and it was on grass, so it was a tough transition, and we couldn't find tournaments to go and all that, especially the challenger level. So, but we still wanted to compete and get some matches in. And it was a great opportunity for us to, pick Bhopal is close to Delhi for us to fly in and play, and we wanted to compete here. So it's a great honor for me to be here with so many members coming out to cheer, and it's great to see. Especially for tennis players, it's always great for people to come out, watch, and support some great tennis here. And we've been seeing some great action here for singles and doubles, and. Also, the city, I'd love to see the city more if I get time, but it's always a rough schedule, especially when you have matches throughout the day and we have to go back recovery and then go back for the next day again. But we still, we'll try to find ways, maybe after the tournament or something, if we get to see the city a little more up close. But right now, we're just happy. We're going to play semis tomorrow, so we're glad we've got 2 matches in, and we did perform well, and hopefully we continue that. And we're looking forward for the matches coming up also.
Saketh, coming from Delhi, Gymkhana grass court against the Danes, which was a surface which was very low in bounce, and you suddenly land up, in this hard court which has got a fairly larger bounce than the Gymkhana one. And then Yuki and you not regular partners in terms, if what I've been reading about it, you have been more partnering with Rohan or maybe with Ramanathan and maybe with the other people. So this planning of playing doubles with Yuki, is Yuki also inclined now towards a little bit of doubles? Then the surface difference from Delhi to Bhopal, which you selected, maybe because of some points or some practice?
It was more about practice for both of us. We played a couple tournaments last year together. We've known each other for, I think, almost 10 years now. So, we wanted to get some matches in. It's always great to go compete, whatever matches, doesn't matter what kind of tournament it is and all that. And we love to have fun. We just try to keep improving and getting our game sharpened up that way. And it was always tough to transition, especially when you're coming from hard courts, grass to hard courts, because the bounce is different, especially here. Bhopal is a little more faster and bouncier. So the way you change yourself, I think as tennis players, we are used to it. Because we have to do a lot of transition, especially hard, clay, grass. Grass is not big in a year, but especially clay to hard and indoors to outdoors and all that. We have to do a lot of things, and it was a little different, especially from coming out of Davis Cup. You have a lot of energy there, spent together as a team and all that. We're glad we did well. We competed hard as a team there. We came up on top against the tough Danish team. It was tough for them to play on the Indian grass courts. It's the first time I got to see in Gymkhana having 26 grass courts. People used to play a lot on grass before we even started, and it's great to see all that. And they did a fantastic job altogether, putting together a fantastic Davis Cup tie there. And coming from there to here, hard courts, it's always a tough transition. And we were drained mentally also, especially sitting down for long matches and all that. Glad we got the 4-love down. Against the Danish team, and we're looking forward for September, which is coming up, and tough tie again. But we're back on tour again. We have to compete as hard as possible. Back to ranking points, trying to get ranking up to play the big events. So that's something we're looking forward, and it'll be a big challenge before the clay court season starts in a couple of weeks.
So one of the main reasons for you and Yuki to come and basically get some practice, number one, to get some points. Now, coming for the audience who are viewing this, you had a pretty tough first round. You played against the Frenchman Constantin and the Japanese Daisuke. Now, it was very interesting. The first set was a roller coaster for you, 6-1. Second, they came back pretty strongly. Third, you were up 9-3. We were all going for lunch. And suddenly we saw it was 9-7. So a lot of nerves coming that time. So it was a tough round. Even today, it was tough. But today, you and Yuki positively looked well-oiled as compared to yesterday. More combined, combination was better, movement was much better. So I think it takes a little time for you to settle down also in these courts. I think both the matches were close.
Definitely. I mean, no match is going to be easy. Everyone's competing hard. And it was a good start yesterday in the first set. Like we played a tough team, especially they were playing a little different. So we were trying to get our things like at least to play consistent. And then we had like one bad game in the second set, which cost us to lose that second set. And we couldn't convert the deuce points, especially in the second. And then the super breaker, the same thing. Super breaker, it's always tough. The momentum shifts happen a lot. Glad we came out on top, especially like we started the super breaker strong, and that helped us to go through it. But we have to learn from that, like the mistakes we make and all that. Same thing with today. I mean, different styles of games, and we're trying to do the best we can, whatever we can. It's always going to be different looks from different players, everything. We still have to find ways to win. And that's something we've done yesterday and today, and we're glad like we still keep improving. The more matches we get, I think the sharper we get also.
Saketh, one of the questions, of course, is a very private question, but I want to ask you. You've been such a lovable character, very down to earth, and a great player. One of my favorites as a commentator. And in fact, I had the privilege of interviewing Saketh as my first Davis Cup player way back in 2014, when Saketh made his debut for India in Chinese Taipei against Chinese Taipei in ITC Indore. And that is the time I still remember. I think he wouldn't be remembering that, but he started his Davis Cup career with an ace. He was partnering Rohan Bopanna, and the first serve which you hit was an ace. I've got the recording to prove it, so you don't worry on that. Now, your injuries. Saketh, you've been absolutely, one of those, without exaggerating in front of you, one of those real classy world-class players, but I always thought handicapped a lot by your injuries. Has injuries really affected your career badly? These long layoffs, you feel it's been a very major part which has been negative in your life?
I mean, it definitely does. Like any part of injury for any tennis player. I mean, it's a physical sport. For me, like I started my tennis like coming into professional circuit having a bad shoulder. So it was like coming back. So I didn't know what to expect and where I'm going to be there. So especially when you're moving up, you're putting more physicality towards the body. It's tend to be injury on and off, but you have to prevent those. Those are tough things. I had tough times, especially coming back. Especially when you get injured, you're taking 2 steps back to come back again, so you're losing a lot of time. And it's always tough, especially like for any tennis player. When you get injured, I think you're going to lose like a couple months, 2-3 months. I had few injuries in between where I lost like almost 6 or 7 months. And it's never easy coming back, and the confidence goes off, and then the way you were hitting before, it's not the same. So you're trying to develop everything again, like from confidence to physical and attributes as well as the surface again. So it's always tough to plan, especially when you're getting injured in between and all that. But as tennis players, you don't plan trying to get injured. Yeah, it tends to happen, and then you look for the brighter side after that.
What precautions, Saketh, you tend to take for these injuries?
I mean, the biggest thing is trying to do injury prevention work. A lot of things. I mean, the most of the work has to be done in the fundamental years. Maybe if I had maybe better foundation when I was younger, maybe the fundamentals would have been better. I mean, in India, it's more about we are such talented people here, but the basics are ones which we're missing, especially for physical fitness and the amount of physicality that each sport demands. I mean, we have to put in the effort, especially the growing years. And if you don't do it, then you'll feel the consequences later. So that's something I could have done better, but I started at the age a little bit later, like around 13 when I really started. So like it's always tough, like especially when you're growing from from this height, you're trying to, everything changes. Your timing, everything changes. And you tend to, you're putting so much power, everything physical into the body, you try to get injured there also. So then if you had the proper team around you to correct it and get better, that's something the new players, the younger guys really needed, especially to develop and sharpen their sport.
That means, Saketh, concluding the injury portion, it's something which a player should take care of from a younger age. As you rightly said, there are programs, there are preventions, one should be very careful about it. Another question, Saketh, for you. We've been following, I think I started my commentator career more or less along with you. After you, after Sumit, the queue in the Indian tennis for singles, for Davis Cups seems little bad. I don't know how many players are coming. You will be in a better position to say. As I was having a talk with the Indore ITC with Vijay Amritraj, and we had a long conversation. He said one of the main reasons for us to win any World Cup event, at least we should have 2 players in the first 50 or first 100. In singles. Doubles, of course, we are damn good. Number one. This is one question I want to ask you. Number two, lot of players, maybe because of injury, maybe because we mature late. Indians mature late than the Europeans. Like Yuki was 83. Yuki attained 83. You attained somewhere like 125 in your life. Do you all take a plunge earlier for doubles? You think you can pursue your career in singles more? or it's because of the injury or the long layoffs you tend to go towards the doubles?
I think history has been saying especially the last 2 decades, we've been successful in doubles. I think, but it's the physicality of the sport. I mean, it demands a lot. I mean, we have a couple guys who are touching hundreds and even 80s, 75 around there. And it's a tough sport, and it's a lonely sport also. Like, I mean, and it's very expensive also. So like, even you have the right team, I mean, you move up that far and you get injured again, and you're trying to catch up again. So it's never easy for a lot of. I mean, Yuki has done it, Prajnesh has done it, Somdev has done it in the past. It's like one-off guys who've come out with their talent. I mean, the amount of talent we have it's a lot.
That's what I'm asking. What is the second generation? Which are the names which come to your mind?
It's not the names. It's about, like, if you make 10, 15 or 20 people do it, maybe 2 or 3 guys are going to come out. But if you're not done even like 1 or 2, we can't expect results out of that. So that's something like it has to be done, like even everyone, because most of the guys who've trained in the past now, everyone have been training outside India. They're not like purely like, okay, they've done things in India to attain that. They always have to mix it up, get the Western style as well as everything, even including a fitness part, including the programs and all that. It's a mixture. It's not just the infrastructure, just having the tournaments. It has to be all together, putting in one place to get the proper product.
That is what I wanted to ask you. Is the association doing little less for the players, or the basic structure down is little poor?
No, everything. Like, not just one thing. There's not one or the other, even including the player. The player has to blame, the parents, the team, everyone. There's everyone to blame here. There's not one person or the other. If a person is successful, it's not just one person. It's everyone all together. It's the same thing. If you're in the failure, same thing. Everyone has to be blamed. And this is not one person here. If you put the right product together, you have to expect results then.
Some sort of an explanation on that, Saketh, like with the association and the players. What sort of a structure you feel should come down? Should it be more on the school side, on the college side, more interaction inter-club, something like that?
Everything. Like, I mean, education also. Like, I mean, we're education first society in India. Everyone loves the education. I mean, people, parents and everyone, they want your kid to be, having a good education before they get even into sport. And it's changed in the last 2 decades. I mean, when I grew up, I think taking a sport as a career was not an option then. It was more like, like everyone wants you to study to become an engineer or a doctor. Now, after 20 years or 2 decades, it's changed. People are letting kids to take the sport, what they want to be successful at, and what they want to, and you keep pushing at it, eventually you'll find ways. And if you do the work, fundamentals, discipline, all together, and even time or like little luck, you can call it, everything all put together, there might be a champion there. But there is no one or the other. Everything contributes to it. So if everything is put in the right place of right mind for the kid, you'll find the proper champion there.
So I think you put it very nicely, Saketh. Failure, it's a team effort. Success, it's a team effort. So both the ways, it's actually the association, the players, the infrastructure, everything which counts a lot. Right. Any regrets of being a tennis player?
The only regret is, like, you have to travel a lot. I mean, and it's not a team sport. There are very few times you play as a team, and I love playing. It becomes lonely, especially like because you travel constantly, week after week, different places, different countries and all that. But it's great at the same time. You get to see so many places, so many cultures. But the only sad part is, like, you have to travel like almost like 30, 40 weeks a year. So that's the tough part, especially you're moving time zones. Yeah, very happy. I mean, you're in the sport, you're loving the sport. The reason why most of the players, we're passionate about it. We wanted to be successful and we want to do good for the sport also. So that's something I'm very happy, and I'm glad that I took the sport.
Just one last request to you, Saketh. A little message for people, our players from Bhopal, Indore, Central India, Gwalior, Chhattisgarh. You're sitting here. I'm very sure they'll be following it on the YouTube like anything. Small word for these youngsters, how to pick up the temperament, anything, any good message for these youngsters from your side.
Definitely. I mean, we have world-class athletes coming and competing here. I think feel free to come by if you get time to watch some great tennis, as well as live, whichever you have the option. And you get to meet us here also. Like, I mean, if you have any questions or something, feel free to ask us. But end of the day, just stay disciplined, be the best you can, and compete as hard as you can, and you'll be successful in your things.
Thanks a lot, Saketh. Sorry for disturbing you. Just finished with your match, and all the best for you and Yuki in the coming. Thank you so much. And that is it, viewers. Taking you back. Thanks a lot.
Match is going to be tough. And we started a little slow in the first match, but we could just coming from grass court to hard court, it's never easy. And it's going to be tough competition from the first go. And doubles, especially you just play like 1-2 lose games, and it's going to be coming down to the super break, and anything can go there. So we're glad that we did well throughout the tournament, and each match we got better and better.
Yuki, your comments about the change? Practicing, coming from daily, the gymkhana, the grass courts, low bounce, suddenly coming into high fly zones of the ball flying all over. Little difficult in adjustment in the initial matches?
That's what it felt like, high flying in Bhopal. But no, we really enjoyed ourselves. My first visit, so very good, taking very good memories going back home. Love the facilities. I think you guys have a fantastic club, and I've held a fantastic tournament, one of the best futures tournaments with live streaming as well. So it is very, very impressive, and kudos to the organizers for doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much, Yuki. Thank you so much, Saketh. We hope to hear more and hope to hear something good coming in the World Cup 1 now, where you play the Davis Cup. Thanks a lot. All the best.